Jesus is talking about two very important images in order to talk about the fingers that we point at others. He's using the images of a log and a speck. A speck is a very tiny thing, very, very small thing, a speck. I think even the word has the tone of a small thing, speck. On the other side, there's a log. It's talking about a log. Log is just a word of 3 letters, L or G, but when you pronounce it log, it gives you the image of a big thing, ulukuni. And he says, how can you tell your brother or your sister, let me remove the speck that I see in your eye, when you yourself have a log, a whole big thing stuck in your eye? How will you be able to see the speck that is in the eye of your brother or your sister? Sometimes many times, we are quick to point out the bad things in other people. But then we forget that we could actually be worse than that person. That we could be having a whole log stuck in our eye. And since we are not able to confront ourselves, maybe because we are too ashamed to confront ourselves, we find it easier to begin to point at the dark spots, the small spots that we see in the lives of other people. Today, Jesus is calling us to conversion. First, challenge yourself. Go into your house, your room. Look at the person that you see in the mirror, and ask yourself if you like what you see. Are you sure the person that you see in that mirror is the same person that God created? Sometimes what you see in that dressing mirror is something that you don't want to look at for the second time, because it has been not transformed, but it has been disfigured. Yes, it has been disfigured by the happenings of your life, by the decisions that you have made in your life. That image has been disfigured, and you wouldn't want to look at it for the second time. So you run away from that shame. And the moment you walk out of your house, out of your bedroom, it becomes easier for you to begin to see those dark spots in other people. It is a way of you running away from taking responsibility of the mistakes that you have made yourself in your life. Jesus is not telling us not to help each other to convert. Jesus is telling us, first of all, to address ourselves, to look at ourselves, to judge ourselves. If at all we have to point a finger at anybody, we have to point first these fingers at ourselves, so that we challenge ourselves, we change our way of life. It is by challenging ourselves in that manner that we acquire even the moral power, the moral authority to help others to convert. Jesus is saying, do not judge. Do not point a judging finger at anyone, but judge yourself. Point that finger at yourself. No one is perfect. Sometimes we want to parade ourselves as the perfect, just like the Pharisees did. They could walk down the streets as the perfect of the community. Sometimes, unfortunately, we make even the small Christian community, the church, a place of judgment and not a place where people can come and receive forgiveness. When people come, those that have publicly, especially those that have publicly been defeated by sin, those whose sin is written everywhere, when they come to church, what do we do as the Christian community, as members of that church? We begin to throw stones at them because they have sinned. We begin to point accusing fingers at them because they have sinned. We begin to call them names because their sin is written on the billboards. We become judges. And this is what Jesus is challenging today. The Christian community, the church, is supposed to be a place of forgiveness. It's supposed to be a place where people, when they are stoned left, right, and center from outside there, when they come to church, they want to feel a sense of forgiveness. They want to see the face of God when they are defeated by sin, when they come to church. And it is our duty as members of the church to help them feel forgiven. We are not judges. We are called to be the forgiving face of God. We cannot be removing specks from everybody's eye, forgetting about the logs that we keep in our own eyes. Jesus says, first address yourself. If at all you meet somebody whose sin is public knowledge, help them to rise from those ashes of sin. Help them to believe that God can still forgive them regardless of what they have done. Amen.